what I'd like to do now, I'd just like to introduce formally Governor Pataki and thank him for coming. As many of you know, Governor Pataki has a long and enduring career here in New York and throughout the country, very extremely well respected in the energy, environmental, and economic development arena. Also very well respected for his overall geopolitical understanding of the world politics and certainly United States politics in the world. His company, the Pataki Cahill Group, actually, I'm not sure if it specializes, if you will, on assisting foreign countries and companies to do business in the United States. I do know this: when I was the energy director in the state of Maine and a senator in the state of Maine in my previous lives here, Governor Pataki was one of the foremost people in the country in terms of environmental vision and economic development vision. And here in New York State, he established what was called the Regional Greenhouse Pact. I'm sure there was another name for it. But when I was working with the New England governors and the Eastern Canadian premiers, this regional greenhouse consortium, if you will, trying to bring together many states with diverse interests, he was able to envision a strategy that was not only visionary in its long-term impact, it was very practical. And it was implemented by utilities, by investors, by people who were NGOs, if you will, people who are mainly interested only in the environmental issues. So I give Governor Pataki great credit. I will say this: when my greatest pleasure was when I worked for John Cardinal O'Connor. He was the Cardinal Archbishop of New York. And I remember Governor Pataki, I believe, Governor, it was the day after you were elected governor, very close to it, you had breakfast with your wife, Libby, and the Cardinal here in New York. It was the Cardinal Archbishop was very pleased, and they were long friends with Governor Pataki, and of course initiated by many of it, coordinated by Peter Smith. But without further ado, I just want to ask Governor Pataki to say a few words. Thank you.
John, thank you for those kind words. And let me say, Peter Smith and I have been delighted to be working with Peter and John through Gintech, and now putting together this joint venture that is so exciting. John started off by saying how I had this reputation of being very out front on environmental issues, and I'm proud of that, and I'm proud of the team that we had, and we did do the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, RGGI, and I think there are now 11 states that are still part of it, and it still really is the only multi-governmental jurisdiction commitment to reducing greenhouse gases. This is like a dream come true. What we have here are the marriage of technology, natural resources, tremendous need, and capital. And this gives this consortium the opportunity to really change the way energy is treated in the United States. And Chairman Koo and Vice Chairman Chairman Kim and Vice Chairman Koo, it's an honor to have you back here with us today. And Chairman Kim and I were talking at lunch, and he said, "Wasn't yesterday wonderful? It was almost 70 degrees." And it was. But it's not supposed to be like that. And it makes me, and I think a lot of people appreciate, that we have to do more to make sure we have clean, renewable, reliable sources of energy. And so this consortium of DST with MLD is just very exciting. And the other thing that's exciting is this is not just a private venture. There is so much interest from the public sector. And Brenda and Jason, thank you for being here. Under Governor Cuomo's proposal, you're going to have $3 billion. All we need are about $500 million to make this work. And so we have government officials here. We have Korean government officials here. We have Oneida County, Dave Katafmo, who would love to see a manufacturing plant for the vanadium batteries in his facility. So this is very exciting. And I was talking earlier with Mr. President Leserson, and he was talking about yes, this can be used as reliable storage for wind and solar, intermittent power, so that they can become far more universal in the creation of energy. But that it's not just that. We have a highly vulnerable electric grid. It is probably the single biggest vulnerability strategically that this country has. And when you can have the vanadium batteries with enormous storage capacity spread around that grid, it allows for redundancy, it allows for security, and it allows for renewable energy or off-peak energy to be used when it is most needed. So this is an exciting afternoon to me. This joint venture, I think, has tremendous, tremendous opportunity. I understand you have real possibilities around the country, but I am a New Yorker. I do hope that you work with the government and that we can see a facility in this state producing hundreds and hundreds of megawatts, if not thousands and thousands of megawatts of vanadium battery in our state, in our country. And just one last point. The biggest impediment to the growth of renewable energy has been storage, and lithium-ion batteries have become the norm. But when you look at energy technology, the single biggest failure to increase capacity has been in battery storage and battery reliability. And I remember back when I was head of the Council on Foreign Relations Task Force on Climate Change, we were talking about electric vehicles, and I met with one of the Canadian major manufacturers of batteries used in those electric vehicles. And we were having a private dinner, and I go, don't the lithium-ion batteries explode? And he looked at me, and I thought I'd get some sort of, and he goes, of course. They always explode. That's why we put them in a metal container so they don't burn the thing to smithereens. We're not going to have that problem with vanadium batteries. We're not going to have reliability problems with vanadium batteries. So all I can say is Peter and I and the Pataki Cahill Group are very, very proud and honored to be a part of this joint venture, and we will do everything in our power to make sure that this is a success for all of you as you go forward. Thank you very much.